Welcome back to Bonanza Disc Golf. Today we have a pretty interesting video. It's actually a Patreon sponsored video because we're going to be testing out 5 different plastics of zone. My patron didn't actually ask me to do this, but he asked me to review the Andrew Presnell Swirly Soft Zone, which I'm pretty sure you can only find on Ledgestone. I bought a max weight one, and just out of the box, it's a little bit more puddle top than the rest of these zones are, because I have a Swirly Soft, a Crystal Flex Get Freaky Zone that everybody told me that I needed to check out, a regular Z Zone, which I used to use a little bit. I actually had another one that I used more than this, so this is still pretty new. A Jawbreaker Zone, which I haven't used much, but it already does have this divot because I did throw it into literally one tree. And then one of the first discs that I've ever thrown in ESP Zone. This is super beat in, and honestly, just off the bat, the Swirly Soft Zone feels like it's probably going to fly most similar to the ESP, because soft zones I know already I think fly a little less stable, and for some reason I feel like this isn't going to be super stable, but we'll see. But we're going to throw these on some forehands and backhands and play 6 holes, hitting them against each other, and if I can't beat par with any of these, they're going to be given away. Even my ESP Zone, which I shouldn't not beat par with because it's the one that I've thrown the most. But we're going to see how these different plastics and zones compare to one another, because my patron Dylan said that he played with this during his first tournament and it was one of the best discs that he ever tried. So the Zone is a Discraft mold. It is 4303, and we're just going to use the Crystal Flex as what a prototypical one would be. They're pretty flat. On the edges here, they are pretty rounded, but like everything that is pretty much an overstable approach disc, they have this kind of downward slope. They're pretty shallow in general, and the different plastics just feel-wise, this one feels, I mean, it's pretty pliable, as you can see. It's Crystal Flex. The Z Zone I actually used to really like, but I took it out of my bag because it's not quite as flexible as the Crystal Flex, but it's also a lot slicker. I feel like I get a better release with the Crystal Flex than I do the Z Zone. And then getting into better grip, you have the ESP, which also is kind of slick, but not in the same way. It's more tacky than the Z Zone is, but it beats in over time to be a very straight flyer, which is how mine is right now. And I got this during the first event that I ever did in disc golf, February 26, 2022. So I've had it for 9 months, and it's been in my bag almost that whole time. The last two, these both feel like they're kind of rubber blends. Jawbreaker right here feels like you can really dig into it, and that's why it has this big divot right here just from hitting one tree. And I imagine that's the same with the Soft Zone, which is in kind of, it feels like even more of a baseline plastic, and this is the only one that it feels like the top is a little more pliable than the edges. So we're gonna really focus on how they fly in the air, different plastics compared. Just keep in mind this one is way beat in, the ESP, and the ground action, because that's really important as well for an approach disc. The hole in here is only 182 feet. We're keeping it nice and simple. We have a couple gaps. We can go big hyzer, or we can just try to go straight up the gut. And I kind of want to see how these work on a forehand straight up the gut. So we're gonna try to flex it through and see how it fights out of it at just 182 feet of power. We're gonna go ahead and throw my old reliable first, because it's the one I have the most experience with, the ESP. I honestly only have to release this pretty flat, and it should turn out of my hand because it's pretty beat in. But if you release it on hyzer, it's going to hyzer. Crazy thought. Definitely need to focus on putting some more anhyzer on these guys. We're gonna go Z Zone next. Go in the basket. Whew, just beyond it. Really solid flight. Crystal Flex. Oof. Didn't quite put as much anhyzer or forward motion on it. And on top of that, I did notice already that that one is slightly more stable than a Z Zone. We're gonna go Jawbreaker next, which I heard is less stable. Definitely less stable than that Z Zone. Go in the basket. Oh! Oh, come on. Definitely less stable. Oh my gosh. I imagine this is going to be understable, but the puddle top is going to make it more overstable. So I'm going to try to throw it like that Jawbreaker. Way more overstable. Wow. But I really like that. When it hits the ground, it just sits. I can't believe that didn't stick. Come on. Hopefully we make some big putts. I really like how that one sat on the ground. Oh, come on. That ruined my freaking star frame, Mr. Z Zone. I really like the ground action on this guy. And because of the type of plastic it is, which is more of a base plastic, it would lead me to believe that it'd be more understable. However, the puddle top on it, because it creates like a weird drag, which is why the Berg has that kind of puddle top, the Baobab from AGL, other discs that are like that, even the Toro, it's going to make it not necessarily more overstable, but actually less glidey. I don't know if it's technically more overstable or technically less glidey, but it has the same effect, honestly. I don't think it's gonna go as far as most of the rest of these guys. All right, our second hole here, I think is about 210 feet maybe, kind of straight down this gap. But what we're gonna do is test the ground action on these and throw a hyzer backhand through this gap have it skip past that tree and see how much skip they have. That way we can tell how slick each of them are. We're gonna start off with the same order, ESP zone. Actually just try to throw a good shot with the one that I actually bagged. That'd probably be a good idea. Stops pretty calmly. One of the reasons is because it's more understable, it's probably gonna flip up a little more and come back down, so it doesn't have as aggressive of an angle, and it hit a tree, so that helped a little as well. That's the Z zone. Oh, Anthony. Even after hitting that tree, that skipped a little bit more, but Crystal Flex, I do think both the Z and the Crystal Flex are gonna have more ground action than all the rest of these. That is so much more overstable than the rest of them. Yeah, that one definitely, it hit something, but it skipped for a lot longer. Now Jawbreaker, definitely less stable, and right into a tree. I'm doing such a good job here. Now the Swirly Soft zone. Best throw of the bunch. Yeah, that did not skip much at all. I mean, it stopped pretty decent. That might be good for going down hills. I think just like I saw on the first hole, that definitely has a lot more stop than the rest of the zones do. And the Z and Crystal Flex have the most. I think the Crystal Flex might be more stable than the Z zone though, which might mean it will skip a little bit more because it has more speed and angle getting to the ground. Alrighty, Z zone just outside the circle. No, Anthony, sit. That one might not be par. No, it's gonna for sure. That was a bad putt though. Let's go. Swirly Soft, down 2. That was good. That just doesn't skip as much, which I really like actually. It's definitely more overstable than my ESP, and I don't know if that's just because it got like damaged when it was getting sent to me. Okay, Z zone. Shut up, Anthony. Start making the putt. There we go. All right, not over par at least. I don't know if they're all this concave, this puddle topped. If they are though, not the biggest fan, but I really like a base plastic feeling disc for like an overstable approach slot. That might be something to check out for myself. Maybe not the Andrew Presnell Swirly Soft, but just soft zones in general, because I don't imagine that this is super different than just a normal soft zone. All right, hole 3 is 280 feet. I actually, in my tournament that I just played here, threw my ESP zone, but I thought it was like 50 feet or 30 feet shorter, so I ended up high right in the circle, and we have a pretty straight gap to go through here. So we're gonna really test the overstability. We are going downhill, which is gonna make them fly slightly less stable. Kind of nervous though, because I know some of them are gonna dump early, but we're just gonna try to throw them flat, do the best I can at throwing them flat and slightly nose down. ESP first. I actually have to hit these a little hard because they're zones, and I'm not Drew Gibson. Or Brody Smith, I guess, is a better example, but. See that one, oh man, that's still turning. Oh my gosh, that zone has gotten flippy on me. Got a second kick, but we're taking an upshot with that Jawbreaker. Swirly Soft. Okay, got that one. Ooh, that actually kind of holds a bit, but it just kind of dies when it hits the ground. That one is so stable. Slightly more hyzer out of my hand, but that one just really wanted to flight back to the left. And now for the Z zone. A little higher than the rest of them, but honestly on the best line. Oh yeah, that has a lot of ground action. I think that's deep in the basket, but that one definitely skipped a lot more. That's interesting. I think my preconceived notions for how a lot of these were gonna fly is proving to be pretty accurate. Just gotta make sure to get up and down with the Jawbreaker. Maybe actually get a freaking birdie with the Z zone, because that's the only one not under par. And then we'll have a couple more holes to try to flesh out their forehand and backhand lines. And if there are any other distinct differences, they're all zones, they're all gonna be overstable. And like a lot of molds come down to how they feel in your hand, similarly, a lot of plastics will come down to that too. All right, Jawbreaker, terrible shot. Oh, or throw it really far. Well, it's inside the circle because the tree hit it. All right, here's our ESP zone. I like how understable this is for zone, because that means that I can throw it on little baby flexes and it'll hold it a little bit, but still fight out of it because it's still a zone, even at these short ranges. And just like that, we're under the basket. Oh, sit. Okay. All right, we got a bunch of cleanups and a hopeful birdie make with the Z zone back there. No, I hate these baskets. Par with the Crystal Flex, no look for anything. I think that means scuba putt. Oh, Jawbreaker. Let's go. Par frame, 3 holes to go. still need to get the Z zone under par. All right, we got another forehand hole here, about 230 feet. You got the backhand line, but you also got the forehand line, and we're gonna test these on low forehands, pushing hyzers. This is a hole that I might actually drive with the zone. This isn't quite remaking me think putting the zone in my bag, but I might hold on to more zones than I would have before. Yeah, it did not come back much, but that's part. I really like the ground action on that. It's kind of like what a lot of people like the Berg to be, but a little bit farther. A lot more overstable as well. I think that, honestly, that zone is a pig. So if you like pigs, but you like throwing Discraft, or you like that flight, but you don't like the feel of pigs, that soft zone is a pig. Skip up and in. Well, it's not gonna skip much, but those are both like pretty parked, I think. That thing is beefcake. It's gonna be in the circle. I don't like the feel of zones compared to Razor Claw 3s, which is why that's not staying in my bag, but it's a good stability slot. And a lot of people recommended that disc when I didn't like the Z zone. And I would say if you like the zones and you wanna stay in that family, that's a better one than the Z zone, but it's not better than like a, in my opinion, like a Razor Claw 3 or a Toro. No, Anthony, are you joking? I really hate that disc. That Z zone, the slickness of it coming out of my hand, I can never get right. I'm gonna blame that on why I'm throwing it so bad today. I hate that disc. Oh! Honestly, we're just gonna go for the skips out with the Z zone because that's the best chance I have to put this in right now, I think. Ooh! No, are you joking? All right, no bogeys. This means though, we're gonna do something that I normally don't do in my videos, which is see which can go the farthest. And that's because of the makeup of this par 4. Normally I'm not really one to just like try to see how far everything goes, but we have a big par 4 here, 422 feet, so it's kind of a soft par 4. Probably backhand at the beginning, see if we can at least push 300 feet, and then see how the upshots work. I'm gonna make a quick guess. I think it's gonna be ESP zone farthest, Jawbreaker second, Z zone third, Swirly Soft fourth, and then the Crystal Flex is not gonna go as far as the rest of them. We'll see if I'm right. We're gonna throw them in that order. That way there's no biases of getting better. I'll be getting better towards the end. Hopefully we can at least take birdies with everybody. I haven't tried to throw max distance with a zone in a while, if ever. Why would you try to throw max distance with a zone? That's kind of a weird thing to do. That thing turns so much. A little two nose up, so I honestly think I could probably beat that. Jawbreaker. That's farther. I'm more of an Anheuser thrower anyway, so. Oh, that's pretty much down there. That's all right. I think that's a little shorter. That ESP might be the shortest, actually. Oh, yeah. I was right, they are getting better and better, if everyone. Nose up. That thing is so stable. Oh my gosh, every single other one turned like that. Hopefully we can get up and down with everyone, but the most important one to me is the Z zone. And unfortunately for Dylan, this is the first one that I'm actually gonna beat par from the Patreon sponsored videos, at least the ones that I filmed, so he's not getting this one. Sorry, Dylan. All right, I was kind of right. Crystal Flex is shortest, then ESP, then Swirly Soft, and then it's pretty much a tie between Jawbreaker and Z. Z's closer to target, so I'm gonna give it to Z, but Crystal Flex, little upshot here, keep it right. I think that'll do. All right, we're gonna go ESP next. 8 standstills, but we're going for it. Sit down, should be happy. Now for the Swirly Soft. Oh, Anthony. Jawbreaker. My hand was in the divot, I should have waited. And Z zone, this is the important one. This got far. That will do. That's on the pole. All right, it's really soft just inside the circle. Oh, I thought I did. Z, So if you're looking for a zone, hopefully this helped you figure out plastic types. I would say Swirly Soft is a really solid choice if you're looking for something that has a little less glide and like just gets to the ground. Really solid option. Thanks for making me test this out, Dylan. If you want to make me test something out, become a patron down below. Third tier gets to pick a disc for me to review. Otherwise, I would definitely check out my Zone versus Toro video over here, or Zone versus Toro versus Razor Claw right down here. Razor Claw 3, that is, if you want to see what my opinions are on the best overstable approach disc and which I have in my bag. Okay, subscribe to the video. Love you. See you soon. Peace.